Celebrations, you would imagine, go late on into the night. Macclesfield, the first non-league club to eliminate the FA Cup defending champions in 117 years. It was Palace once again who were upset in 1909. Wolves knocking them out. What was that game like, Stevie? I guess you're old. Crystal Palace, first top-flight club to get knocked out the FA Cup versus the club 5 levels below in the English League pyramid. And clubs are separated by 117 places in that league pyramid. Let's get some reactions, shall we, from the protagonists from the game after the match.
John, 117 places between you. The first time since 1908 that a non-league side has knocked the holders out of the FA Cup. Try and sum up your emotions for me right now.
No, you know, we spoke earlier and we spoke about hope and having a chance, but I never really believed it. That was just me hoping. But wow, the boys were absolutely outstanding, and the way the performance they've put on, wow, you know, we can give them a little bit on the side and help them in that sense, but they've got to cross that like a lander, and I couldn't be any prouder. You
scored the first goal and the scenes were absolutely incredible. Could you even have dreamt of that moment?
No, I have to be honest. I was up till 4 o'clock, not last night before, just thinking of what I was going to do. But it wasn't a goal. But yeah, the lads, the ball that Dust put in, exquisite. On my head, that's my best foot, my head, like I said. So, no, no words, to be honest.
A really disappointing day. How are you feeling right now, stood in front of me?
Yeah, disappointed, embarrassed. Been involved in many games as a player and as a manager. I think this is one of the worst I've seen. Yeah, so congratulations to Macclesfield for the win. We didn't show anything. Didn't show any kind of quality. We didn't show anything, and it's my responsibility. I'm the manager, and for me it's clear what I've seen today. So we have to change things, and there will be definitely some changes, and this will start with the next training session.
What a lot of fun that training session will be, I imagine. Juliana Ron is at the Valley for us. We'll be talking about Charlton, Chelsea a little bit later on. But this, without a doubt, Jules, the biggest story of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest stories in FA Cup history, really. You mentioned the stats, Dan. This never happened before, really. As embarrassing as this could be for Palace, and Glasner kind of mentioned it a little bit, it's all about Macclesfield, let's be honest. John Rooney, who's Wayne Rooney's younger brother, doing an amazing job in the National League. They beat Slough in the last round, and then this time it's Crystal Palace, the holders. It was an incredible occasion and atmosphere, really, and I'm not sure if Oliver Glasner probably knew where Macclesfield was before today. Now I think there's a lot of people around the world who know where it is.
Up near Manchester way.
I don't like that, what he said there.
What Glasner said?
Yeah.
Which bit?
Right at the very end. It'll all change starting on first training session.
Right.
Bit late. That's your job. Your job is to smell when things are not right. Your job is to figure out if your team are actually up for a game or not. That's part of your job. It's not giving it the big I am right now. No, I'm going to put my foot down now. That's absolutely not the answer at all. It's too late.
Jules, of course, Glasner has been linked to the likes of Manchester United, especially over the last week, considering what happened to Amorim. Does this affect that narrative at all?
I don't think so. Maybe not the game today in itself. However, this season has been a struggle, let's be honest here. Apart from the odd good result and good performance from Palace, overall, they've been so disappointing, so underwhelmed. And okay, maybe didn't get the investment and the support from the board during the summer, where they should have had more new recruits, more signing. The squad is far too thin to play in the Conference League and in the league and have the similar results to last season. However, his job, like Stevie said, is to find solutions to problems that each team can bring against Crystal Palace, of the scheduling and the fixtures and all that kind of stuff. And he's struggling himself this season. It's not as good as he's been in the last 18 months or so. Well, you know, prior to this season, the players are not either. There's clearly something missing this year compared to last season, and that's also on him.
Aston Villa then through to the next round. Of course, this game was live and exclusive on ESPN+. Jurgen Klinsmann was part of that coverage and not impressed with Thomas Frank's Spurs performance.
You have that chance to get back into your flow in a certain way with an FA Cup tie at home against Aston Villa. You cannot come up with a first half like they did today. And then rescuing it just in the second half is just simply not enough. I mean, I was pleased, they created more. They had moments, where they could even have it a tie at the end. But it's not enough. There was not enough desperation, urgency, aggressiveness that you would need in order to get through an FA Cup tie, which is always, every game in an FA Cup is a final. It's knockout, and you have to be nasty. You have to be hugely aggressive. You have to kind of dictate the level of aggression on the field, and they missed that completely in the first half, and they did better second half, but it's not enough. You cannot get out of such a prestigious competition in that way.
Jurgen Klinsmann, by the way, no Craig Burley. This is a man who sees every glass half full, yet pulling no punches there. It just shows how frustrated he is with Spurs, and indeed I think it sums up the feelings of the Spurs fans at the moment.
And they have every right to do so. I mean, you could see in the first half what the setup was. It was get behind the ball. The only thing is, when you do that, there has to be some sort of confrontation eventually. Somebody has to step towards the ball, and then when whoever's in charge of that, everybody fills in behind. Spurs didn't do that. They stayed off and stepped off. So regardless of how many men you get behind the ball, you still have to do the basics defensively, and they didn't do it. And the first goal absolutely showed you the problem. Right through the pipe, nobody moving, nobody closing, and all of a sudden you go in at half-time and you're 2-0 down.
How condescending, how low have you got, Jules, when you've got people at the end of the game going, well, at least they tried in the second half?
Yeah, I think it's terrible, really. And I know we can look at the squad and say there's a lack of creativity. For sure, there's probably a lack of quality in the squad. No problem. However, I'm sorry, but Thomas Frank has been in charge since July the 1st. We are now January the 10th. He still doesn't know what his best 11 is. Injuries or not injuries, it doesn't matter. He keeps chopping and changing all the time. There's no intentions with the ball. There's nothing. I can't believe that we sat here again and it's the same. Nothing with the ball in that first half. Jurgen is right. How can you come out in the FA Cup at home, considering the bad run of result that you're on right now? I think it's 2 wins in 10 in all competitions, something like that, and put up that kind of performance. I think it shows you that Thomas Frank cannot get those players on his side. He cannot get the fans on his side either. And it's not the first time that we see, okay, maybe glimpses of what they can do, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there. But overall, over 90 minutes, it's so poor, it's so disappointing, and he's the one to blame. The players for sure have their part of responsibilities, the squad structure and bit for sure. But at the end of the day, this is still a better squad than the result that they're having right now, and that's on him.
Is he going to make the end of the month, Jules?
I think he will, and I guess the only positive in a way for Thomas Frank and Spurs is that Vinay Venkatesham, who is the CEO right now, who was the CEO of Arsenal, who was there when Mikel Arteta arrived, he actually recruited Mikel Arteta. And when things didn't go well at the beginning for Arteta, I'm not saying that Thomas Frank is as good as Arteta and can take this club as far as Arteta has taken Arsenal. However, Vinay was patient with Arteta, and I think he will show more patience for Thomas Frank. That patience is not going to be forever, though. And I think Thomas Frank has to very quickly try to turn things over by recruiting more players in January, and they're working on it. But yet it's 10 days in, and they've got no one apart from that young left back from Santos Sousa who should come. But that's not the answer. That's not the solution either. So they will be patient. But Thomas Frank has to find something that he hasn't found yet to make sure that to try to convince Vinay Venkatesham, the owners, and the fans, and the players, more importantly, that he's still the right guy for the job.
The big problem is the results are terrible and the football's terrible as well.
So what he has to do is look at that second half. Because there's no question, that's their best half of football since he got there. So he has to look at it and say, right, what did we do that we can replicate the next time we step on the field? And you can't turn around and say, well, it doesn't count because it was against Wolves or West Ham or a championship team. It was against a proper team. It was against Villa. They put them under severe pressure.
It was against a team that were 2-0 up, though. Does that not make a difference?
Well, it sort of helps Spurs in some ways because you're always going to go out in the second half and not hold on to what you have, but be a little bit more safer than you were in the first half. But at the end of the day, it's still Aston Villa, the team that's sitting, what, third in the league? So every single thing, he has to figure out what they did well. How do I replicate that? Because everything else pretty much they've done all season has been poor. Other than sometimes they've defended well, because you can't really say they've done well going forward in many games. But they did in this second half, and it was a completely different vibe, completely different game. So if I'm Thomas Frank, I'm figuring out what did we do in this second half that we can replicate, and then we can start building again.
If you're Villa, surely FA Cup is your main priority, isn't it, Jules? I understand the Europa League, Unai Emery's connection with that competition. But if I'm a Villa fan, wouldn't it be great to get to Wembley and win the FA Cup in May?
From a fan's point of view, probably you're right. They were in the semi-final last season. We were there. They were so disappointed in that semi-final against Palace, outplayed completely by the system tactically that Glasner employed, for sure. From a club's point of view, the Champions League, or finishing top 4, top 5, because 5th place is going to take you to the Champions League, is by far the priority here. And I know fans, players, Emery, ideally a trophy, lifting that FA Cup, having the bus parade and everything you want is wonderful. It's a great experience, something to achieve in your career. But from a club point of view, right now, they need that Champions League money so badly. They can't, again, settle for Europa League or Conference League. They need the Champions League. They need the money of the Champions League. And for them, finishing in that top 5 is really indispensable. Then, of course, if you can go find the Europa League, that would be wonderful. If you can go back with the FA Cup again, go find the FA Cup like last year, but just a step further or two and win it, great, no problem. But that can't take them away from the idea that finishing in the top Champions League places is by far the most important financially for the club.
We're Villa fans. Because everything Joe said there is spot on. You know, if you're involved at Villa, if you're a managing director, whatever you are, board, that's what you're thinking. But if you're a fan, you're thinking, well, Europa League, FA Cup.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
You want trophies. That's why you follow. And there's surely players want trophies as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be Unai Emery's problem as well. You know, every single player wants to win the FA Cup. Mm-hmm. I mean, it has lost a bit of its bluster in the last few years, but what we saw in this third round, this has been the best third round for a long, long time. So yeah, as a player, if you turn up to the next round and Rodgers, for example, isn't playing, you're thinking, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Are we really wanting to win this or not? That's not a good spot.
Oh, 5-1.
Back to normal.
There we are, back to normal, exactly. I've just been told that Jules is freezing.
Oh,
No, it's good, it's good.
Jules, take us through the game from your vantage point.
Hat.
Yeah, the hat is beautiful. Yeah, well done.
So we wanted to see what Rosenior could do with this team, right? And we were a little bit disappointed for the lineup because it was a B team / C team. But what we saw, certainly in possession with the structure, I think is probably something that we will see quite regularly or probably very often from a Chelsea team now under Rosenior. There's that back 4 that turned into a back 3, Hato coming inside a lot, but more not just in an inverted fullback, but very much as an inside 10. Buonanotte on the other side, the width from the 2 winger, Garnacho, Gittens, plus obviously Andres Santos and Caicedo in front of that back 3. I thought that was interesting in the way they occupy the pitch, in terms of the verticality that they tried to find at times, even against a low block. There was a lot of interesting things that you could see what he was trying to do. And again, he's been only with his team for 2-3 days, really. So we need a bit more time. But that was interesting. Then when the bigger boys came in, Enzo, Estevao, Neto, the lab, it got even easier for them against a Charlton team that had a lot of heart, but not really much talent on the pitch. So I think he'd be happy with his debut. The goal they conceded was probably avoidable, really. But I think he'd be happy with what his players tried to do with the ball and the structure, again, tactically of what they showed. And then they scored 5. They could easily have scored 7 or 8.
I just want to take you back to some of his comments that he said ahead of this game. And this is a storyline that pretty much Enzo Maresca, of course, followed in his final weeks at Chelsea, saying, I remember Sir Alex Ferguson was brave enough to put 6-7 players between the age of 19 and 21 in his team, in a title-winning team, because he believed in them. What they did is they grew and they won trophy after trophy after trophy. There is potential for that here. Speak about Caicedo, or Enzo Fernandez, or Cole Palmer, or Reece James, world-class players and still very, very young. That is the ultimate ambition for this club, to create that again. It's interesting when you take a look at the ages of these very, very young players. They aren't actually that young, and they certainly aren't inexperienced, Stevie. It seems a strange thing to say.
Well, we've missed Cucurella's 28.
Yeah.
Sanchez, the proper goalkeeper, 27. Yeah, I don't understand why he's bringing this up. I mean, there's actually very little that you can compare with this in the class of 92, because we didn't know anybody from the class of 92 when he put a red jersey on.
Yes.
We know all of these guys. I mean, Reece is a seasoned international. Caicedo. Enzo Fernandez got a World Cup winners medal. So this whole young nonsense, A, leave it, we've had enough of it, and B, why are you trying somehow to compare what you've got to the class of 92 and Alec Ferguson? You're just setting yourself up to fail, because the only thing you know is as soon as it goes wrong, somebody's going to say about the class of 92. So you're bringing the pressure on yourself.
Yeah, it seems to be you're putting expectations far too high, Jules.
Yeah, I agree with everything Stevie said. We talked about it a bit in our pre-match build-up too. It's that unnecessary pressure that you put on yourself. Apart from the fact that there's just nothing comparable between the class of 92, probably the greatest ever generation from an academy, from the same club, coming through at the same time, that might never even ever be equal to what you have, to the ages that you mentioned, to the fact that you are not Sir Alex anyway to bring through, even if they were younger players, to bring through those young players, by the way. It's weird, is it, to bring the fans on board and say, listen, you know, this is what, because obviously there was a lot made here in England about the fact that he's a United fan. He was very open about it when Strasbourg played away at Aberdeen in the Conference League earlier this season. He was all about Sir Alex and how much he admires him and how much he's his idol and example, and United this and United that. So maybe that was a way for him to just go back onto the Chelsea side in a way. But apart from that, it's pointless to have said that, and again put the pressure on you, on your players too. And not sure I really understand why he went there so early, because he's usually very good in terms of speaking to the media, his communication. He's a smart kid. That didn't really make much sense.
Jules, good news and bad news for you. Good news is you'll be back in the warmth of the studio on Monday. Bad news, it's with Gab for the latest edition of the Gab and Jules podcast. We say thank you very much to Jules. Hopefully we'll thaw out soon. The latest edition of that programme, of course, drops on Monday. Manchester City 10, Exeter City 1. No upsets then at the Etihad. Semenyo, of course, starting. Stevie, we talked about him a lot, making that move from Bournemouth. Obviously, Exeter the opponents today. Yeah. But it's a nice way to hit the ground running, isn't it?
Yeah, initially when I saw he was playing, I found it a bit strange. I thought, what if I'm Doku? But at the same time, if you're Pep, it's, well, this is a good opportunity, because this is a free hit.
Yeah.
Get him on the field, let him see what we're all about. Because basically City go about it the same way, regardless of the opposition. So it's a good opportunity to see what they're about. And he ends up with a goal and an assist. So everybody's a winner.
And we've had this conversation so many times over the years, but you've got no problem with the score being run up in that manner?
Absolutely not.
Against inferior opponents?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it's more disrespectful if you start taking the mickey and start rolling about and all A's and all that.
Yeah.
No. You get as many as you can.
Here we go then, Barcelona against Real Madrid tomorrow, live on ABC. Our coverage starts at 1:30 Eastern. The big story leading up to kick-off tomorrow in Saudi Arabia is the return of Kylian Mbappe to the squad. He, of course, missed that big semi-final win against Atletico Madrid. He's back, he's fit, and will he play? Here's Xabi Alonso.
Está mucho mejor. La idea antes de empezar la Supercopa era que llegaba justo contra el Atlético, entonces decidimos no acelerar. Hay que medir siempre el riesgo, hay que saber el momento en el que estamos, lo que nos jugamos y luego asumir todas las decisiones que tomemos, pero no somos kamikazes a la hora de tomar decisiones.
Gemma Soler up late for us to bring us the latest on what exactly is going to happen with Kylian Mbappe. What does your gut say, Gemma? Do you think he'll start or be on the bench?
At this time of the night here in Saudi Arabia, I think he will start, because when Xabi Alonso spoke, it was this morning, then there was a training session. He could train 100% fit, and the excitement has grown. I'm here in a Haima, in my own private Haima. I'm at the hotel where all the press is, with a lot of people from Real Madrid Federation. I could talk to them, and the excitement is really, the hype, it's big with regarding Mbappe. He trained well, he feels well. The scanner they did before flying to Jeddah went very well, so all of us here are expecting him to start. I know the logical would say maybe keep him off on the bench, because he's been 3 weeks without competing. He sprained his knee. Today it's the only day he was able to train alongside his teammates, but that's what the feeling is. Let's wait what happens tomorrow. They will have an activation session, a soft training in the morning, and if he feels as well as today, what we expect here in Jeddah is that he will start.
What do you do?
If Xabi Alonso was telling the truth and they were hoping to get him for the Atleti and decided just to leave it a game, then I'm good with it.
Right.
If they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
If they're actually pushing it because they so desperately want to win this game, then I think it's madness. I don't understand why you would sacrifice maybe winning La Liga just to win this game. It makes no sense to me. But as I said, if Alonso's telling the truth and being upfront with us, then I have no problem with it.
Gemma, it's interesting you look back at these Spanish Super Cups in the past. Vinny Jr., of course, shining in the big games. He needs a big performance, doesn't he, tomorrow to silence his critics?
Yes, he does. It's 16 games without scoring a goal and only 3 assists in these games. And all the controversy regarding the boos, the whistles at the Bernabeu, his actions with rivals, with Simeone, he's not convincing. So he needs that kind of leader performance to convince everyone. He was even booed here at the King Abdullah Stadium. So his situation is difficult, and he needs a great performance in the Spanish final of the Super Cup, in this El Clásico, of course.
We saw in those stats how close it is with regards to these teams over the years. Hansi Flick looking ahead to the clash between Barca and Real Madrid.
For the way you played in the semi-finals, the winning streak, you have one more day of rest. Some people think that Barcelona are a huge favorite. I want to know your approach ahead of this final. How is the locker room and the spirit ahead of this El Clásico?
No, we are happy to win the semi-final against Athletic Bilbao, but at the end it's a final, and we're also looking forward to meet Real Madrid in the final, and it's something special. It's El Clásico, but also you can win a title, and for us it's great.
So the last defeat in domestic competition of Barcelona was against Real Madrid in Santiago Bernabéu. Since that day, all wins in La Liga, and I think that the team is enjoying a momentum. Do you think that defeat was a turning point, and you learn from that?
It could be, but at the end it's all about the team. You know, how we played against Athletic Bilbao was important. So we play like a team, like one unit, and this is what I normally want to see from the team. And when we playing like this, I'm really appreciate a lot what we can do. We want to play like Barca, and we did it against Athletic.
So Lamine Yamal could only play 20 minutes. I want to know if he is 100% fit, and how important can be Lamine in this game?
Lamine is a special player, so and for us also very important. And of course he's able to play, and in situation he also, he can decide matches. He can with one action, and this is really good to have him in our team.
And the last question, it's going to be your 8th final as a manager, 3rd with Barcelona. You have a perfect record, 7 wins. So how do you approach this yet another final that you can maintain this perfect record?
Well, this is for me is the past. The 7 are in the past. Now we are focused on this final against Real Madrid in the Supercopa. And I enjoy this. I enjoy to play against these teams, to play on this level. But at the end, it's all about us, about our team, how we play, how we started, how we are ready for this match, and this is what I want to see. I want to see playing like a team, playing like Barca, and this is our style, and this is our way how we want to do it.
I tell you what, Gemma, compared to Real Madrid, Barca are boring. There's no story, no soap opera, no will the coach go, what's going on with this player. Everything's very calm, and Hansi Flick, of course, will be delighted with that.
Well done. Over the years, you have had so much drama with the registering. Remember, 1 year ago, we were with Dani Olmo registering, with all the drama, the elections. So give us a little break with the Lionel Messi departure trauma. So, yeah, it's true that it's like histories of opposite momentums in Barcelona and Real Madrid, but it's true. We were at the training earlier today with Lamine Yamal training at 100%. There was so good move that they were having fun playing games. They know they are favorites, but they don't want to believe it too much. It's true that for the way they played in the semi-finals and the last games in La Liga, they feel favorites. But there is some history that says that they are not going to win, because since there is this new format, the defending champions of the Super Cup has never won it again. This hasn't happened in the last 15 years. And then who wins La Liga, so Barcelona, doesn't won the Super Cup. This happened in the last 8 years. So with this new format, Barcelona shouldn't be favorites, but the feeling is that if they play us against Athletic Club, they will win it.
So you're predicting a Real Madrid win then, Gemma, with all these stats?
I think the numbers are meant to be broken. Statistics. I think it's going to be very tough. I don't see a clear favorite as everyone. I predicted earlier today for Deportes 2-1 for Barcelona, so I'm going to stick with that. But I think anything can happen. I think it's going to be a great final.
Yeah, it should be a great final. Gemma, thank you very much. Gemma, of course, will be with us in our pre-match coverage as we count down to kick-off, which is live at 2 o'clock on ABC. And then, of course, all the reaction live on ESPN FC, live tomorrow at the final whistle. Welcome in to a very special edition of ESPN's Extra Time. Just me and you, Stevie.
Looks like it.
We spent a lot of the day together as well.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable, Dan.
Eleanor made me lunch, which I spilt baked beans down here, but it was very nice. All-day breakfast. Can't go wrong, Stevie.
Nope.
Dan, because it's just Stevie, I'd answer some of the questions, Stevie.
I think you deserve to.
I know. Do you can ask them if you like.
Can I?
Yeah, you do it. Here we go.
From Andas, right?
Yes.
Dan,
yes.
Where's the smallest football ground you'd ever visited to cover a match?
Oh, those are easy. When I first started at BBC Radio Cornwall, I would do Truro's game. This before Truro went into the National League. Falmouth Town, Helston, all these little clubs, which basically it is one man and your dog. But it was great fun. It was a good way to start my broadcasting career, which has now brought me next to Stevie Nicol. What a mountain I've climbed to get here, Stevie.
Oh, you finished?
What do you mean?
I was just doing what you do. You don't listen to anything we say.
How dare you? I'm always engaged with what you say.
Give you some of your own medicine.
Next question's for me.
My personal assistant, nice.
Okay.
Dan, what's your favourite FA Cup memory from your youth?
Wow. There's some, Hillsborough was terrible. That kind of dominated when I was younger. I was, 8, 9 years old. When that took place, you look at some of the football that was on show at the finals were always massive, weren't they? The ones that you're involved with.
All day job.
Liverpool against Everton. But the thing was, you would just sit down in front of TV at the start at 12. Kickoff wasn't until 3. And it was the only time really you had the build-up and you kind of got that taste of what it was like to broadcast all around like a big live event. And that was something that kind of hooked you in, certainly someone who's interested in television, because that sort of occasion didn't happen very often, did it?
No, once a year, the FA Cup final.
Yes, exactly.
That was the only occasion.
Yeah. But big moments, you think, when Bristol City beat your lot, was it Bristol City at Anfield? I'm trying to think, when it was 1-0? No?
I wasn't playing.
No, you weren't playing. No, but I'm pretty sure it was later on in Liverpool's world, in the 90s. Michael Owen scoring, of course, in the final, 2001.
Yeah.
Those sort of things kind of spring to mind as big moments.
You'd mind.
Right, Steve, you're not very engaging as a host. You just seem to be not listening.
I'm the host now.
Well, you're asking me the questions. For Stevie, today is National Peculiar Day. Which of your ESPN FC colleagues is the most peculiar and why?
Peculiar? Well, I think you know the answer.
Well, I don't, Stephen. Let me know what the answer is.
I'm trying to think if there's any...
Is there a fellow countryman of yours?
I'm trying to think if there's any competition to him. Not really.
No?
Craig can be peculiar.
Craig can be... I think he would definitely admit that he's peculiar.
Aye.
Yeah.
No, he would as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody close to him. Definitely Craig.
Dan, whose loss is worse in the FA Cup? United against Grimsby, well, that was the Carabao Cup, or Palace against Macclesfield? Grimsby is 4th tier, Macclesfield is 6th tier. Will Palace drop off if Gay is sold in January and Glasner leaving? God, that's a lot of questions for me
We
to
can't
answer.
drop off any further, can we?
No, most
wins in
definitely.
9.
There is something that isn't quite as big as Crystal Palace losing as it is one of the big clubs.
Right.
I understand they're defending champions, but there's something that history remembers more about the big teams losing as opposed to Crystal Palace. No disrespect to them, but you wouldn't put them in the same category, obviously, would you?
It's kind of strange because Coventry were also cup holders and lost to Sutton United, who were non-league. And it feels as though that was bigger than what this was today.
Right.
And I can't understand why.
Well, maybe it's because we're not in England, I don't know, the FA Cup being diluted as we're talking.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It was in England.
Yeah.
It's different when you're outside the country.
Maybe it doesn't quite have the same sort of punch.
No.
Who would Chelsea need to finish in the table? Where would Chelsea?
I think I should read the
Where would
questions.
Chelsea need to finish in the table for the season to be considered a success?
Top 4.
Yep. That's it.
It has to be top 4. That has to be the benchmark for any Chelsea manager. At least
right.
The top 4.
Which, of course, Maresca achieved.
Yes, exactly. But clearly, he wasn't a happy camper. I think Rosenior should know exactly what he's getting into. I don't think there should be any doubts about that. But then, I think you could say that about Maresca. Surely he knew what he was getting into. Maybe he just didn't realise how deep certain things were going to go against him.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see when the shine comes off.
Okay.
Getting the Chelsea job for Rosenior.
Yep. Arsenal midweek, of course, first leg of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, I was thinking about stuff that Jules was talking about earlier about tactically what he's doing and this and. I'm not so sure that you start throwing things in so early in such a tough game.
So what do you do?
Well, I think you play it safe. I think you get your first team, what you consider to be your best team, and keep it simple and don't start complicating things. I think you need to spend time on the training field with your team. If you're going to start changing what they've been doing, you can't just turn around all of a sudden and start thinking it's going to work.
Right.
First game against Arsenal of all teams. I mean, you've only got to look at in my part of the world in Scotland. Martin O'Neill taking over Celtic.
Yeah.
8 wins out of 9. Kept it simple. And then Wilfred Nancy comes in and starts changing all kinds of things. And the players are stuck between both. So if I'm Rosenior against Arsenal, I keep it simple. Don't complicate it too much. And then the more you work with your players, then you can start introducing different things that they may not know.
Stevie, who was someone you were most nervous to play with early in your career?
Play with? Play with? For what?
Is there anyone that you would, I don't know, be scared if you made a mistake, they would scathe you, they would hold it against you?
Oh, right. No, well, I think this happens to not just myself, but everybody. You know, when you join a team like Liverpool. So I joined Liverpool from Man United, who were part-time.
Yes.
I was 19 years old. I think I'd been to the country once. And all of a sudden, you're playing next to Dalglish and Souness and Hansen.
Yeah.
So that, before you start playing, before you start training, never mind games, the first time you're training with them, you're nervous.
I bet.
It's like a game. It's like a proper game. Now.
Right.
Because you want them to see that you can play. That's it. Full stop.
Yes.
You want them to see you and go, yeah.
Because everyone's judging you, yeah?
Oh, 100%. Every time a new player walks through the door, as soon as you put the boots on and the whistle goes for training, everybody's like, let's see what you got. Now.
And you can see if he's nervous, or you can see.
Oh, yeah. But I would say the good guys, the proper guys, when the game starts, the nerves go away.
Okay.
And you do what you do.
Right. Does Jules's bomber hat need a Twitter account or an X account? Well, it keeps everything warm. He loved it. It looked freezing.
Well, I've got some hats at home that don't look as stupid as that.
Stevie, I've seen you dressed up. You've got your big, what do you call it? High-vis jacket on. I don't think you can preach really too much about what
We're talking about hats.
Yes, I know, but in general, what you're wearing when you take the dog for a walk...
Oh, so it's just general now?
You've got lights around your neck, you've got the high-vis jacket on.
Well, I won't get run over, will I? No, that's the idea. It's not a fashion show, Dan, when you take the dog a walk. You know what I mean?
That's very true. It's practical, is what it is.
It's very practical. It keeps me alive. I don't get people firing bow and arrows at me up the forest, or cars running me over when I'm crossing the road.
Okay, right.
How dare you?
But Jules is just to keep his head warm, isn't it? Much as yours is to keep you alive, this is just to keep warm.
Well, that's true. It just looked a bit stupid.
Isn't it such a treat, final question, to not have VAR stealing the joy out of these matches?
No. Absolutely not.
What do you make of not having VAR at all?
Stupid. If the game's at Macclesfield and you can't have VAR, then okay.
Yep.
But if you have a game at a Chelsea or anywhere that it's possible that you can have it, then why wouldn't you have it? The reason we have VAR is to get decisions right.
Yes.
So if you can have an advantage of getting it right, why would you not use it? It makes no sense.
No, I agree with you, Stevie. 100%. That is it. That brings us to the end of today's show. Busy day tomorrow, of course, live on ESPN. Plus, you've got Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. You've got Manchester United. You've got Arsenal, amongst others, in the FA Cup. And then, of course, in the afternoon, you've got the Spanish Super Cup at Barcelona against Real Madrid.